I served in the Marine Corps. We are trained to be war fighters, not for crowd control. Everyone here should be alarmed that the president has sent armed forces into a city against the wishes of a governor and mayor. I am concerned this administration is purposely escalating the situation with this step and politicizing our armed forces in the process. Let's call it for what it is. It's political theater. Hegseth, are the Marines in Los Angeles ordered to protect property by any means necessary?
Patriots and progressives gather around because whatever you think congressional oversight looks like, this clip is about to revise your definition from orderly debate to full-blown constitutional cardio. Now listen, before we roll this thing, let me set the stage the way only magadotes can. You ever watch someone take a simple yes or no question, a question even Siri could answer, and turn it into a 12-step interpretive dance? Yeah. Today's hearing is that, on premium difficulty mode. And look, as a left-wing patriot, I'm all for strong institutions, accountability, and leadership with a backbone. But if the performance you're about to see had a Yelp page, the review section would just say, service was slow, answers were missing, but the emotional damage was complimentary. So go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you believe democracy works better when people actually answer questions, and drop a comment telling me how many seconds you last before yelling at the screen. My guess, under 10.
It shouldn't come as no surprise that I have serious concerns with both the deployment of the National Guard and the Marines to Los Angeles. I served in the Marine Corps. We are trained to be war fighters, not for crowd control. Everyone here should be alarmed that the president has sent armed forces into a city against the wishes of a governor and mayor. I am concerned this administration is purposely escalating the situation with this step and politicizing our armed forces in the process. Let's call it for what it is. It's political theater. Hegseth, are the Marines in Los Angeles ordered to protect property by any means necessary?
Sir, I would say the ICE officers and police officers being attacked is not political theater. The National Guard and Marines,
just yes or no. Just yes or no.
The National Guard and Marines have the full authority to protect federal ICE agents.
Yes or no.
Can
you just say yes or no? This isn't Fox anymore. Just yes or no.
They're there to protect federal agents and federal.
Another BS answer. Under the SRUF, the use of force, are Marines allowed to fire warning shots?
No.
Now that's more like it. Isn't that easy? Well, you know, I'm going to beat this drum because you refuse to take responsibility. Will you take responsibility for having made a mistake? Not to mention, many people would say break the law in participating in the Signal group chat that included a journalist, your wife, your brother, where classified information was shared.
Sir, every way I communicate is authorized. Every way I communicate.
Okay, if you want to say that. I have called for your resignation. I didn't think you were qualified before your confirmation, and you have done nothing to inspire confidence in your ability to lead competently. You broke the law in sharing classified information, and in doing so, endangered the lives of our service members that you are responsible for. Your inability to hold yourself accountable makes you incapable to lead. This alone makes you unfit to be the Secretary of Defense. Secretary, do you think the United States should continue supporting Ukraine in its fight against Russia, a nation that is hostile towards the United States?
Well, as you know, sir, President Trump is committed to peace.
No, I just want yes or no answers.
Today, the United States has spent billions of dollars.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Over years.
Just yes or no. Can I get a yes or no out of you?
We continue to send.
Come on.
Presidential drawdown.
It's that easy. Kindergartners can give me a yes or no. Yes or no.
Yes, we support peace in Ukraine.
Come on. Is this really leadership? You're an embarrassment to the United States. If Russia invades NATO allies, are you going to recommend to the president that we fulfill our Article 5 obligations?
Well, Russia has not invaded NATO allies.
No.
Thankfully, President Trump has invigorated the NATO alliance.
I reclaim my time. Yes or no? It's that simple.
There's Article 5 in NATO, which we recognize.
So is the answer yes or no?
That's what Article 5 is, yes.
Good. I'm glad you brought yourself to saying yes. Do you think political allegiance to Trump is a requirement for serving our nation, either in uniform or a civilian in the department?
I'm incredibly proud, as are millions of Americans.
No. Not today, Hegseth. Yes or no?
Congressman, you know what a silly question that is.
But silly enough
fidelity
to
to the
warrant a
Constitution.
very straightforward answer. Yes or no?
We all support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
You know
We're
what?
proud to serve
I'm not going to
President
waste
Trump.
my time anymore. You're not worthy of my attention or my questions. You're an embarrassment to this country. You're unfit to lead. And there's been bipartisan members of Congress that have called for your resignation. You should just get the hell out and let somebody competently lead this department.
Mr. Chairman, do we not have any decorum in here?
Thank you very much. I yield my time.
Gentleman yields back. And
All right. Breathe, patriots. Because if your blood pressure didn't spike at least once in the last minute, you may already be living in Zen mode with a lifetime subscription. What we just witnessed wasn't a debate, it was a stress test of American leadership, and somebody's meter was flashing system overload. Here's the thing. Leadership in this country isn't about dodging responsibility like it's a pothole on the freeway. It's about stepping into the hard questions, especially the ones you don't want to answer, because the people you serve don't get to skip out on their obligations. And when you're trusted with national defense, you certainly don't get to treat accountability like an optional subscription add-on. What stood out to me wasn't just the inability or unwillingness to give straight answers. It was the deeper problem underneath, an allergy to transparency, a leadership philosophy where everything becomes a maze of half-statements, hedging, and finger-crossing behind the podium. That's not how you protect a democracy, that's how you exhaust it. And let's talk about responsibility, because that word means something to those of us who actually believe in the Constitution. When you're in charge of safeguarding Americans abroad or at home, you don't casually shrug off concerns about judgment, integrity, or the security of information. You don't turn leadership into a loyalty contest, and you certainly don't pretend oversight is a personal inconvenience. Real patriots, the left-wing ones included, know that power without accountability is just ego with a security badge. And what we saw in that moment was a perfect example of why institutions crumble. Because people at the top think they can sidestep consequences while the rest of the country is expected to stay in line. And here's the part that should concern every American, no matter your political flavor. If someone can't deliver clarity when the stakes are this high, what does that say about the decisions happening behind closed doors? What does it say about judgment, about priorities, about whether the nation's security is being guided by competence or by convenience? We deserve better. Our service members deserve better. Our democracy demands better. When leadership becomes defined not by courage but by evasiveness, the entire chain of trust frays. Because if you won't own your decisions when the cameras are on, how can we trust you when they're off? So here's my takeaway. And I say this as a left-wing patriot who still believes this country can rise above its dysfunction. Accountability isn't optional. Transparency isn't hostile. And answering direct questions with honesty shouldn't be a heroic act. It should be the bare minimum required to sit in the chair. If you can't handle scrutiny, you can't handle the responsibility. And if the heat of simple oversight makes you sweat, well, you're definitely not ready for the fires you claim you were built to manage. Thank you for watching, patriots. Stay informed, stay loud, and stay committed to a democracy that doesn't flinch when the truth knocks.